I'm going to ask our co-founder, Donna Pretorius, to join me on stage, as well as Shaun Malanna from Investec. Shaun, so good to have you back here at FundraiseCon. We're going to speak about entrepreneurship programs. Donna, Shaun, I'm going to leave the floor over to you guys. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much, Lo. Shaun, it's so great to have you here at the conference. So for everyone that's listening, Shaun Malanna is the Entrepreneurship Portfolio Manager at Investec CSI. Shaun.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks, Lo. Hi, Donna, again. Good evening to all the guests that you have on your conference this evening. Thank you very much for having me again. Looking forward to the chat.
Shaun, I'm super excited about our discussion today. You work with a lot of entrepreneurship programs at Investec CSI. And for the audience, I want you to tell us a little bit more about the heart and the passion and the why. Why is entrepreneurship so important for Investec CSI?
Sure. I think I'm sure most of you would know Investec in the context of what they present, but I think a huge part of the Investec DNA is very much entrepreneurship and entrepreneurial. It's just part of how the organization was founded, how the organization is run, and really the individuals that contribute to what the organization is as well. So I think the entrepreneurship is just something that's inherently part of the culture, part of Investec, and just part of the whole zebra ethos at Investec as well. And I think more importantly is Investec is an organization that very much believes in living in and not off society. And the society in which we have, is particularly in the South African context as well, there's huge divides, there's huge disparities, and it's trying to figure out and understand how we can invest within initiatives or strategic intention to try and bridge this divide and this gap. And for us, education and entrepreneurship are two of the fundamental keys that we believe can impact and provide the change and the necessary tools and skills to kind of solve for a lot of the social ills and economic woes and problems we currently face in South Africa. So that's why education and entrepreneurship stands for us as the core of all of what we do within CSI at Investec.
Sure, Shaun. Yeah, as outsource CFO, we've been working very closely with you and Setlugani. And I can truly say that Investec CSI really have a passion and heart for entrepreneurship. One of the programs that we work very closely with you as network partners is the Finance Readiness program. It's the 5th year that we're running the Finance Readiness program. Would you be so kind to tell the audience a little bit more about what's the objective of the Finance Readiness program? What do we aim to achieve?
Yeah, sure. No, it's been a great partnership over the years with OCFO. And what we within CSI, within the entrepreneurship space as well, as I'm sure everyone on this call knows, talking about exit strategies and evaluations and finance and investment and, building unicorns and all the rest of it. A huge part of an entrepreneur's journey is, of course, understanding the numbers and making sure that the money's there and, the finances aren't necessarily the obstacle that prevents the growth. Of course, finance isn't everything, but it's certainly a reality and a key that unlocks a lot of potential and realization of plans in terms of either scaling or growing or solving for employment opportunities, etc. So one of the key and critical areas we realize within CSI that's potentially not as well crafted, as well considered, etc., was how do we, because we certainly don't have an unlimited resource bucket, to just throw money at every entrepreneur that comes through, but how do we, instead of giving them fish, how do we teach them how to fish? And that means if you are looking for investment, and that investment can take different forms in terms of finance, how can you be best positioned as an entrepreneur to make sure that when you go out there at the point in time that you do need different financial investment, how are you going to be best positioned to do that? So that's where the Finance Readiness program comes into play, where we work with select entrepreneurs, because again, the program is pretty intense. There's a huge team from the OCFO that works with these entrepreneurs through an extensive 8 to 9 month period of time, where you're looking at all aspects that investors like your panel, that you've gotten, as well as the audience members here, would want to look at in an entrepreneur's business. So everything from, yes, their management accounts, their financials, but also all of the other stuff as well, that an investor also wants to see, are these things being considered? Are they the way they should be? Are they in shape, etc.? And the beauty of it is, in terms of how we structured the program, is that we know that all entrepreneurs don't have this sorted. So the program really looks to identify entrepreneurs that we know are in a position, are almost ripe for the picking, working and identifying specific areas within their business that we know investors are looking for to understand, not necessarily to have perfect, because of course the investor needs to walk the journey with the entrepreneur, but certainly have a level of comfort to understand what those areas are, at what stage of readiness those areas are, and how we're going to look to fix that. And that's where the OCFO team, in terms of the expertise and skills, come in to kind of have these very key specific areas mapped out for each individual business, putting a plan together of how we best take that to the next level, or to a level that an investor would want to consider this business for investment, and putting those interventions in place. We then host what we call our Finance Readiness Roundtable, which is an exciting culmination event of the huge amount of work that's done before that. And that's really giving the investors opportunity to literally, pick, choose, and refuse which entrepreneurs they want, across different sectors, depending on what their mandate is. But more specifically, having an entrepreneur groomed, ready with their pitch deck and everything an investor is going to ask them prepared, and literally there for the investor to then say, well, this is what I want, and this is what I don't want. I think the beauty of it as well is, a lot of investors potentially take maybe 2 to 3 years to try and just find this entrepreneur and hopefully get, see that the entrepreneurs made good strides. We do this in less than a year and literally present them with a whole array of entrepreneurs to choose from as well. So it gets a lot of that pain work out the way, and really just getting the business of finance into the business as well. As you said, we've been running it for 5 years with OCFO. It's been going incredibly well. We've realized some fantastic investment in deals for entrepreneurs. We actually just concluded our 2021 cohort about a month or so ago, and talks are underway and things are really looking promising. So the program's going from strength to strength, and we've really, like I said, impacted and enabled entrepreneurs in a very real way when it comes to finance, when it comes to investment, and when it comes to really taking their business to the next level.
Well, Shaun, yes, I can just add to that. It's amazing to see how the mindset of these entrepreneurs change, as well as helping some of the success stories of the entrepreneurs that got funding through this program as well. Shaun, let's say I'm an entrepreneur and I'm in this audience now, and let's say I'm not potentially looking for funding. What other type of programs does Investec CSI offer for entrepreneurs?
Sure, I'm going to say what is probably going to be considered very controversial, but money is not everything. It really, really isn't. I think you can throw money at something that's probably not going to solve the greater and the bigger issue necessarily. And we realize that, and we appreciate that, but also understanding that, understanding the finances and keeping a pulse on it is certainly going to take you a long way. But what we've also identified as a core and critical, avenue of support that's needed for entrepreneurs is, yes, we can solve for the money issue, and we can do that in a way that's sustainable, that makes sense, that's structured, that's what the Finance Readiness program provides. But it's also about understanding what opportunities lie in front of the entrepreneur that they're potentially not tapping into. So that's looking at opportunities in terms of how is your brand, how is your business, how is your product, how is your service, how are you received, how are you understood in the market, and knowing where you could potentially tap into opportunities, client streams, procurement opportunities, etc., that you possibly wouldn't even have thought of. And that's what the Market Readiness program does. So it's not guaranteeing the entrepreneur that, in 6 months' time after you do our program, you are going to, grow your revenue by X amount, but it's certainly allowing you to understand, well, here's kind of drawing the curtain for you in a much wider space, in a much wider way, for you to understand the different doors that you could potentially knock on, that you potentially didn't even realize existed. And we can do that by getting you more market ready. So whether that's understanding your brand strategy, whether that's understanding how do you show up within your sector, whether that's PR, whether that's just leveraging different opportunities that you may not even have thought of, understanding your client base, your competition, etc. There's a whole myriad of different opportunities that, again, as I'm sure most entrepreneurs on the call attest for, you don't necessarily have the eye for, or haven't taken the time to actually realize what opportunities are in front of you. And this is so much more than just a marketing exercise. So guys, please, this is not about we build a fancy website or, we put a nice ribbon on top of it. It's really understanding the discipline around how do you actually understand what opportunities are available and how do you capitalize on that. So we're very excited with that program as well, because it just brings a whole different element and dynamic of entrepreneurial support to really enable entrepreneurs in a real way to grow their businesses. We've completed a pilot, which we learned a lot of lessons with, and COVID taught us like very good lessons, launching a sort of market readiness. But I think that was a perfect testing ground to see, does this program actually have the speed and the impetus that we needed to have in a time like COVID? So I think that really, really gave us some learnings and insights that we're definitely looking to take forward. So we're really looking forward to the market readiness program in terms of this year's launch as well.
Perhaps just in conclusion, I see as a comment as well for the audience, where can the entrepreneurs find out more about these programs from Investec side?
So as we were learning and growing with the programs, and we always take a very sort of cautious approach to these things, because you always want to, make sure that the impact is there before you kind of bang the big drum about it. But I think I can confidently say, I think with the finance readiness program, with the partnership we've had at OCFO, we've really seen some incredible results in terms of what's gone in and what's come out of it at the end of the day. And we are looking to open up applications to a much broader audience, because previously what was how we used to focus our kind of initiatives is really just focus on our alumni base that we've had from different programs, which become part of our pipeline. But this year, in the next month or two, please just watch it on all social media channels that Investec has. OCFA will also be pushing it out there as well, because they've got some fantastic mediums. Lucille from the marketing department has been doing a superb and stellar job on that. They've got the new branding out. So we will be pushing out, call to action in terms of applications for finance readiness, applications for the market readiness program. So we're really looking forward and hoping for, a good influx of applicants that we can select to take to the program. And as I said, we've got tangible outcomes and results from this. So we're really excited to take this to the broader entrepreneurial community that's out there. I do see there were a few more comments as well on the side here, if I can maybe briefly just from Robin London. Thanks for the insights. Yeah, I completely agree with 100%. The learning, trainings and guidance support and mentorship is just invaluable for entrepreneurs. We've learned that lesson. We've seen that feedback as well. It's a lot more than just about the money as well. Matt Kluas, your systems run your business, your people run the systems, you lead the people. Really like this, Leanne Tian as well. Again, from your previous speakers, everyone seems to be agreeing very much with the panels, speaking about great stuff. I guess I spoke to Mary Jane's question about how do we access the program. As I said, we run application call-outs at different points in time. And we also understand as well, the programs that OCFO run certainly have a level of expertise and a level of mature businesses, but we also understand, that the small SMEs and the startups out there are really huge key in terms of economy. So the township economy for us is a huge focus and space that we also play in as well with our startup school program. And this is a 12-week online program that really enables guys that are either thinking about the idea, so this is your startups in ideation phase, or even guys that have been in business for like 2 to 3 years and looking at scaling up. Our startup school program as well provides that level of support, training, thinking, mentorship, network, even prize funding to enable the businesses to actually move on to the next stage. And that's also been going brilliantly. Stuart Cohen is the head of and the honorary chairman of the Mr. Price Group and UCT's Graduate School of Business. He's also the partners that we work with on that. So we've done some incredible and exciting things as well with entrepreneurs, even in that early stage of startup. Some exciting things that are happening out there.
Sure. That's that for time. Shaun, thank you so much for sharing the conference with me and your input. Over to you, Lo.
Shaun, Donna, Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks for sharing what you're up to. Shaun, always amazing to see a corporate investment bank like Investec stepping up and helping early stage entrepreneurs in different ways, whether it's market readiness or finance readiness. Really amazing to be working with you guys on making the entrepreneurial ecosystem a better place in South Africa.
Great. Thank you so much to everybody. And yeah, thank you so much to the OCFO team. You guys are doing incredible stuff in the space as well. So really excited to see how we build bigger and better from here as well. And thank you all for listening to me and also for hosting me as well. Have a good evening.
Thanks, Shaun. Thanks, Donna. Appreciate it so much.